Hey guys, and welcome to our review for The Killing of a Sacred Deer, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, starring Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman, Barry Cohen, I want to say, is how you pronounce that, and Alicia Silverstone is also in this movie. My name is Scott Ellis. I'm joined here by Tim McGavick.
Confession, have not seen this movie. Sorry, audience.
Not a problem.
You weren't there?
Was not there.
Tiff?
No.
And Adam Craney, also doing this.
I have seen this movie. Full transparency.
As have I.
For our listeners, if you've listened to the past 2 TIFF episodes, I famously see almost no movies during TIFF.
You will be seeing 3 this year.
It's my most.
Which is pretty exciting.
Most ever? Yes, you little guy.
I'm excited.
Look at you.
We're also going
boy.
to be seeing 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri,
Yeah,
Hostiles, and
Shape of Water.
The Shape of Water.
Roman J.
Being a lot of
Esquire.
Yeah, Adam and I are seeing Roman J. Esquire. Roman J. Israel Esquire, sorry.
Oh, yep, sorry. Missed the name.
So stay tuned for those reviews.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Keep it locked.
Let's talk about The Killing of a Sacred Deer. You guys recognize the name Yorgos Lanthimos. You might think of the movie The Lobster.
Oscar-nominated Lobster. Yeah.
Original screenplay,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. There it is.
Tim, do you have a little synopsis?
Oh, I do. Colin Farrell is a surgeon,
Correct.
You're right so far.
and
Good luck.
he has to kill a deer.
No.
Nicole Kidman
Oh.
is a patient? Mother of a
Wife.
patient. Damn it. What happens in this movie, guys?
Yeah.
Tell me. I have no idea.
I can't. I really can't.
The remake of classic 70s Deer Hunter with Robert De Niro.
This movie is so hard to review. I would say if you like The Lobster, you'll like this. It's in the same vein of that ultimate cringe humor that makes you squirm in your seat kind of humor. And performances were great across the board. I thought Barry Cohen, I'll say his last name, as Martin, he kind of surprised me because he's fully Irish, and his accent kind of cracked maybe a couple times.
Fodder.
Yeah, because he was in Dunkirk.
Fathers.
He didn't do a whole lot in Dunkirk. He had
Yeah.
a pretty minimal role.
Yeah,
But he was good in this?
he was good in this. I still liked him, but I mean, Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell were like really good, especially Nicole Kidman. I found she was fantastic. But the star of this movie really is Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah.
I feel like just his direction and the way this movie was edited, really great angles. He brought it up in the Q&A, how he did lots of low angles and high angles and sort of like off-kilter stuff with the camera, and I thought that was effective at throwing the viewer off. As well, the score was like bizarre, insane. Like the score was cringe.
One of the loudest scores, the sound design in general, but one of the loudest
Wacky.
scores I've ever seen, or like heard, I should say, in a movie.
It's just like piano like crashes.
Ding!
Ding! Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
that was perfect. And like strings, like zing zing,
Yeah.
bling. Just like
You're just like,
what the
"Ah, make it
fuck?"
stop.
Just like,
Weird.
Cringe.
So he's trying to get you in like a
Unsettled
mood,
mood,
unsettled
yeah,
mood.
yeah,
like
yeah.
pling, pling, pling.
And there was some really funny moments too.
I'll
Like,
say, is
a
this-
lot of humor for me.
Okay. Because the trailer doesn't look very humorous. And The
Not
Lobster
at all.
is like a dark comedy. Is this also a dark comedy?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some really funny stories that are told. There's this one that Colin Farrell tells. He tells his son a secret. He tried to get his son to tell him a secret that he thinks he already knows what the kid wants to tell him. So he like tells his son a secret, and it's a fucked up secret.
One of the most uncomfortable scenes I've ever seen in a theater with like people.
I laughed out loud. I literally was like, ah! Like I laughed so hard at that.
I'm speechless. Just a little incestual secret.
Fun, a little fun. Fun for the family.
Yeah.
Honestly,
true.
this movie also reminded me of a movie that Adam and I saw at TIFF last year, which was Nocturnal Animals.
Yeah.
The reason I bring that up is the opening sequence.
Mm.
Tim, you love Nocturnal
I
Animals,
do
right?
love that movie. Yeah.
How about that opening sequence, right?
Uncomfortable
Okay, talk about uncomfortable openings.
and out of context. You're like, what? Why is that?
I don't want to say what it is.
No,
For the viewers out there.
pretty. I mean,
It's pretty innocuous, but I feel
Yeah.
like it would. I feel like it would benefit you if you didn't know
the
what it was.
surprise would be ruined
Yeah,
because it hit us. We're just like,
we're just like, oh,
we looked
shit.
at each other.
This
we're like,
Nocturnal Animals all over.
we're getting your ghost.
yeah.
Like hashtag get your ghost.
Turn
This
to
is
us into
fucked.
ghosts.
Yeah,
You're a ghost.
I am a ghost now.
And just how he's sort of off played that with a really funny random story that Colin Farrell and his coworker have about watches and watch straps.
Yeah,
He just followed it up with like a funny like dialogue weird scene with the opening sequence, and it was just like, I don't know, it's just it really plays off each other well. But overall, what I'm getting at is I really enjoyed this movie.
Better than The Lobster? Or
It's
like
really
can't
hard for me to
compare.
say. Yeah, I don't know. I have to think a little bit more. I really like The Lobster. It doesn't quite have that same sci-fi element, I'd say, even though it's not prominent.
For me, The
And
Lobster
Lobster-
loses steam in the second half a little bit. Is this movie pretty consistent all the way through?
I'd
a little
say
bit more so.
The comedy, and they brought it up in the Q&A, the comedy in the first half is much more prevalent. Much more laughs in the first half.
And then
The
get
second
to-
half gets dark.
I'd say same rhythm as the Lobster.
Okay.
Definitely has the same flow, like comedic for the first two acts, and the third act is devolved.
Yeah, Lobster is not very funny in the last act. I'll
No,
say that.
it's like
Also, if you guys ever see Dogtooth, it's like that as well.
really.
Yeah.
It's like he like eases you into it with like mittens on, and just like here we go. We're laughing. Everything's
And
cool.
mittens off is just claws.
Yeah, under those mittens, there's fucking knives.
Pennywise hands.
Penny straight, just vicious, ruthless claws.
I do like how this movie kind of plays like a Greek tragedy, and they brought it up,
Sure.
and it has these classic sort of tropes, I guess you could say, that sort of come to the surface. And Yorgos was saying that it wasn't necessarily intentional, but they recognized it as they were writing it. Like, oh, this is really similar. Like, you know, I can't pronounce the Greek tragedy name, but
Yeah.
very similar to this specific Greek tragedy. And I could see that during the movie. I'm like, oh, this is like very typical of like what would like a tragedy play,
Yeah.
which I liked. I liked that it was like
a lot of like
modern mythology.
misunderstandings, sort of. But
It's
You
so
could say
hard.
that. Yeah, I would say that between the characters.
yeah, because that's a lot of like Greek and Roman stuff. Is like there's some misunderstanding that happens that results in like tragedy that just like could have been
Yeah,
easily avoided if like something else had happened instead.
Right,
I'd say it's along those lines.
Yeah.
but kind of like that ultimate like irony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of ironic stuff that happens.
Yeah, I think that's definitely prominent in this movie.
It's a
Again,
good
trying to
push.
dance around the spoilers because
Yeah,
I don't want to get too far into it because there's some interesting plot turns. That
well,
were
like
great.
Yorgos said in the Q&A, also one of his main themes in his films are humans being put to the test,
Mhm.
right? And just really, really pushing you to the edge.
Like, what would you do in this situation?
Yeah. And then it's like you're saying, like the irony of like the sort of Greek tragedy tropes. It's like you're pushed until you think you can only do one thing.
And you do that thing, and then you realize that was the wrong thing to do.
Whoops.
Now I've given my thoughts.
Uh-oh.
Adam, what do you think of the killing of a sacred deer?
I'll let Tim give his thoughts first. What did you think of it?
5 man, loved it.
Pretty 5?
Yeah.
Preemptive?
Give it a 5.
I thought The Killing of a Sacred Deer was one of the most fucked up movies I've ever seen.
Without
The cringe was turned
to 11.
to 11 in both the humor, in the ancestral stories, Colin Farrell not knowing how to make small talk and just being like, oh yes, it's good to see you as well. My daughter just got her first period, so like that's his small talk, just
Yeah.
like ultimate
Hilarious.
cringe.
Love it.
The like violence, just ferocious, vicious, like very small but heavy spurts, like the
Violence heavy.
right score heavy, just a heavy,
Cringe, heavy.
film, cringe heavy.
Acting heavy.
But Colin Farrell said something in the Q&A after. He said the first time he saw There Will Be Blood, he said, that was a brilliant little piece of film, and I never want to see it again. That's how I feel about this movie.
Yeah.
It was unique, unlike anything I've ever seen. Not a joy to watch. Like, probably won't ever watch it again. Like, it certainly wasn't fun, but it was very unique and well made. Like the acting, I thought God, what's his name, the kid who played Martin?
Barry. That's good.
Barry, he blew me away. I thought he stole the movie. I was not expecting, like, we saw the trailer for this, and the trailer doesn't give away much.
0.
I would say what little the trailer implied is flipped almost in the movie for me.
Yeah.
Right? Do you get what I mean?
I don't even know what the trailer was selling.
Yeah. Well, for me, like, when I saw the trailer, I thought, like, Colin Farrell was some sort of, like, villainous, like,
Yeah.
scientist, and he was, like, paralyzing people or something, and then it ends with the kid Martin saying, like, okay, we know what we have to do. So I thought, like, he would be trying to stop Colin Farrell. Let's just say not the case. Definitely not the case.
Yeah. I thought he was
Yeah.
great. I did think he was great. Any scene he was
really
in, he
shook
kind
me.
of stole those scenes.
Yeah, I didn't, obviously I've only seen him in Dunkirk, so I was gonna say I didn't know he had that in him, but...
Did you see 71?
Oh, what was he in that?
He was one of the kids in 71.
Okay, yeah. We reviewed it.
Yeah.
Way back in the day.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, I thought he was great. I thought both kids were great, like the daughter and the son.
The daughter
also
and
great.
the son, they were great. Straight-faced.
Yeah, that climax, though. Yikes.
Oof.
Ooh. Nicole Kidman was good. Like, she fit her role quite well. Their second team up since The Beguiled this year.
Colin Farrell and
Nicole Kidman.
Right.
Yeah. Score was amazing. Like I said, just very unnerving, and like just the sound design. Like when Martin's eating that spaghetti and just like swishing it on the plate.
Oh.
I hate
Like,
people eating.
Intimidating. The most intimidating spaghetti
Oh, I've never seen.
eating ever.
I've never seen anyone make spaghetti eating look so scary.
So he
It's baffling for Tim right now.
Yeah,
Trying to
I'm sorry,
comprehend that.
He reminded me of like a young Heath Ledger or something.
I think this kid has a great future. Adam, you had the funniest comparison as far as what he looks like.
Oh, baby
young,
Joel Edgerton. Yeah, he's
hilarious.
he truly is
He does look like Joel
young
Edgerton.
Joel Edgerton.
I'm waiting for that movie where he is with Joel Edgerton. It'll happen.
It's on the way.
But I do think he's a star on the rise. I think he's someone to keep an eye on for sure. I think given the right role, he'll just knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I thought it was good. I liked it a lot. Very solid. I mean, my only negatives really, like, there was nothing where I was like, ooh, this is like cheese or this is like bad. It was just the overall like slimy, like I need to shower, like sickening feeling it gave me. I can't say that I like absolutely loved it for that reason, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only thing for me that I think of as a negative is sometimes the dialogue, I know it's intentionally cringy to get a laugh, and sometimes it really hits and I legitimately crack up, and sometimes it doesn't always hit.
Yeah.
But
I know what you mean.
I think it hits more than it misses, for sure.
Yeah,
For
I'd
sure.
agree, for sure.
But yes, the odd time I'm just like, okay, that wasn't that great.
Yeah, it's like okay,
Like the singing
cool it.
from the trailer.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't want that.
I expected it to work in the movie.
It worked better than the trailer.
Yeah,
I disliked the trailer.
didn't do it for me.
That song in the trailer.
There's just things like that where he Yorgos kind of goes into his own zone, I think, and like falls in love with his own thing and thinks about him over like the viewer, like that, like a 3-minute standing shot of her singing Ellie Goulding. It's like
Yeah, he probably
thank
loved
you.
it when he's filming. He's like, "Oh, this is amazing."
people are gonna cry from this. And then after at the
Someone just
Q&A,
badly singing.
yeah, the Q&A like asked her to sing, He's like, right, and like she's gonna sing, and like gave her the mic, and she's like, no,
So
I
cringe.
can't.
It's so cringe.
It was so cringe.
I do love in the Q&A. I would be remiss if I didn't mention this question.
We have to say.
Yeah, you always get the cringe questions in the Q&A. This girl asked, Yorgos, so what's the symbolism, what's the meaning behind the fans? There's a pause, and Yorgos is like, the fans? You mean like the ceiling fans in the movie? There's like all these ceiling fans? She's like, yeah, ceiling fans. He's like, they're just like ceiling fans.
Amazing.
Like, there's no like subliminal meaning.
She's Ghost.
It's in a hospital. There's a lot of scenes in a hospital. There's lots of ceiling fans in hospitals. Like
Your Ghost.
Just
Get your Ghost.
yeah, like there's no meaning behind it.
Hilarious.
I love that so
Oh,
much.
that was incredible.
Got shredded.
And someone followed up with something else, and he again was just like, "Yeah, no, just a dog or something like that." I forget what it was,
It's
but
so funny.
he was like, "No, there is no meaning."
You can't really get a true answer for those questions. Like, what did you mean by this? It's like, just take it for what it is and to make your own mind up.
Yeah.
That's what I take from this movie. Like, you gotta make of it what you want to make of it yourself. You gotta come to your own conclusions. It's almost worse when you get the answer. Like, I love Blade Runner.
Yeah, you don't want. I hate when directors come out and they're like, "This this means this."
He wasn't in.
Case closed.
Yeah.
It's
That
like,
kind of
well, that ruins the fun. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
I think that'll probably do it for our review of The Killing of a Sacred Deer. Check it out when it comes in theaters, or
It
there's
will
a
be.
couple more showings. TIFF, I believe.
Do you want to rate it?
Oh, I guess you guys should probably rate
If you
it.
don't mind,
Yeah, we can rate it.
I'm giving it a 4. I think I liked it just a tad better than The Lobster.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with a solid 4 out of 5. Solid 4 out of 5.
Bye bang.
10-5 banged it. There we go.
There you go.
Just for the incest.
But yeah, check it out when it comes in theaters. We enjoyed it quite a bit. Tim, where can people find us?
People can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Up Real Late. You can find all of our old audio episodes still on iTunes at Up Real Late. You can find me personally on Letterboxd at Up Real Tim and on Instagram at The Craft Pundit.
Ooh, gotta get that.
Anyway,
Adam.
you can find me on Twitter at Franny25 and on Instagram and Letterboxd at UpRealAdam.
You can find myself, Scott, on Letterboxd at UpRealScott. And yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like on it. Leave a comment below in the comment section if you want to join our discussion. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And as always, keep it real.